My name's Jamie Barrow, I'm Britain's fastest snowboarder, and I'm here with Snow.Guide in London for the UK premiere of the new RedBull film, The Fourth Phase. I'm also here to interview the man himself, Travis Rice, and Dr.Pollack, who the whole fourth phase is all about his book. So, really look forward to it.
Well, thanks Travis and Dr. Pollack for joining us here. First off, I saw the premiere last night, absolutely awesome. Really, really well done. I think you guys must be so proud about it. But what I want to start off with saying is, I mean, the whole film's about this hydrological cycle. Can you explain a little bit more about what it is and how it's important within the film?
Sure.
Both of you. That's direct.
Oh, yeah, why don't you I'll start, Travis. And
I'll start from, the simple aspect of the film, touches, like, one of the motivating root factors for us was, I think, just having a little bit more wherewithal of, the natural environment. It's really as simple as that. I mean, the film, based upon the inspiration of a poem Brian Iguchi wrote 15 plus years ago, ending in this phrase, this process we follow, this cycle we ride, is kind of more of a tribute to living a life a little more connected to these hydrological processes. Now, we went on in the film to kind of, in the beginning, explore this much more zoomed out macro version of it about where our weather comes from in North America, primarily simply in Wyoming, where we were. And when we started to zoom out and kind of do the research about the scale of simply the North Pacific kind of solar engine that is responsible primarily for our winter weather, I think, it ended up taking us on this pretty wide-scale adventure. Now, through that, and through our interest in wanting to know more as we went, along the way I stumbled upon the work of Jerry here, and his, I think, pursuit to better understand and simplify the science behind water, which he wrote a book called The Fourth Phase of Water, which he was kind enough to grant us blessing to use it as the title of our film. So, I think it kind of transitions from this bigger picture element to wanting to understand, I guess, better what's really going on with weather and water, and it's best explained, I think, in the fourth phase of water. I mean, the book kind of starts to break down the science behind it.
Yeah. So we what Travis is talking about is the fourth phase. So we all grew up learning and understanding that water has three phases: the solid, liquid, and vapor. But we discovered a fourth phase, and this had been predicted 100 years ago by a famous physical chemist. And along the way, during the past century, a lot of people have had the idea that there must be another phase of water. And in our experiments in the lab, we discovered it. And it turns out that this is the phase of water. The water, we're full of water, we're 2/3 water. And the water that's in our body is mostly this fourth phase of water. It's a kind of crystalline or quasi-crystalline kind of water where the molecules are actually, instead of randomly oriented and bouncing around, a gazillion times per second, they're ordered. And just like any crystal would be ordered. And this is the stuff that fills your body. I mean, most of your body is filled with this fourth phase of water. But it's not just your body. The fourth phase of water is present all around. So it forms when water meets a surface, especially a so-called hydrophilic or water-loving surface, where if you drop the water, it spreads out instead of beating up as it does on Teflon. If it spreads out, then in our experience, when it spreads out, that spreading out, this kind of water is actually fourth phase water. So it's involved. It turns out it's involved. It governs the process of evaporation, cloud formation, precipitation. And so it's actually really centrally involved in what Travis is talking about the hydrological cycle. You can't, if our experiments and interpretation are correct, you can't understand phenomena of weather unless you understand about fourth phase. So that's where it comes into play. It's around us always.
That's brilliant.
And that's what's so fantastic about, I think, the journey we went in. We went out thinking we were wanting a better understanding of these like very large processes, but in turn ended up actually kind of going to the root of it, really.
Learned something along the way. Amazing. Well, that leads me on actually. But how did you guys actually meet to come up with this idea? Did he come find you? What was it? Did you know who he was?
No, I got an email from this guy, and Travis Rice. Well, never heard of him. Not being a snowboarder or anything like that, but we came to meet one another. It was just delightful. We had a wonderful dinner together, and we struck a kind of resonance.
Amazing. So you seeked out him, and that's how this whole thing kicked off.
Yeah. Well, I kind of stumbled upon his work, and then was really excited about it and sharing it with my kind of core team, and then I went down the wormhole and geeked out very hard, and then ended up cold calling him, basically sent him this long email, asked if he could come join, flew out, met him for dinner, and then it was great in the spring. We actually got to go out for 3 days and go to his laboratory up in the University of Washington, shoot a couple of experiments of his, and I guess spend a little bit more quality time up with him, and kind of get some, he has this very kind of voice of God presence in our home, if you will. And,
voice of God.
So leading on from this, obviously, this has been a 4-year cycle for you, Travis, and I don't know what point you came in, but what was the thing you learned the most? I think I'll direct to Travis first. What was the thing you learned the most over the past 4 years?
Well, other than a plethora of fascinating information that quite frankly has changed the way I look at things, and even my favorite thing, even beyond the science itself, is this continued kind of motivation for keeping an open mind. I mean, I think what I love so much, and one of the reasons that we wanted, the title of the fourth phase was simply something as simple as water. I mean, we kind of, I think, steal the magic away when we just define it as it's water. I don't know what water is. Drink it, I bathe in it, whatever. But the fact that there is so much more than meets the eye, I think moving forward with an open mind and an open heart, I mean, who knows where we are? Maybe, as you've put it before, scientifically, maybe we're just still at the very beginning. There's so much more that lies ahead.
Totally, yeah.
I mean, yourself as well, have you learned something while going through this cycle with Travis? I mean, have you learned more about it and going on this journey?
Beyond just how to do a really good method.
Yeah. Have you taught him to snowboard now, have you?
Oh yeah, the snowboard is, I mean, it's a new experience for me. It's totally amazing to see what these guys can do on the snowboard. It's mind-blowing, actually, to see it. But also, paying attention to the snow and the snow conditions and the powder, and how come you get powder sometimes, and how come other times the snow is wet and sticky. And I remember breaking my ankle skiing in very wet snow, and it was fun because some lovely young women carried me on a stretcher from up there to down there, and lots of attention after that, having broken an ankle. But I can see the manifestation of some of the things that we've discovered in a practical sense. Like, what is it that's different about powder snow and wet snow? Well, the fourth phase of water has a hexagonal motif to it, and the snowflakes are hexagonal. So we understand now from some of our experiments that to go, when you want to freeze water somehow, you don't actually go from this kind of water directly to ice or snow. You have to pass through this fourth phase. We have experiments to show it. So the water first becomes fourth phase water, and then it becomes ice or snow. So we have an idea that since this fourth phase is hexagonal, there's a relation between the fourth phase and what's manifested as solid water. So it's possible, for example, this fourth phase is charged, negatively charged. When you have powder snow, the snowflakes can easily come apart, and a lot of people think about the air that's mixed in, but we think about charge. If this stuff is all negatively charged, the charges repel each other, and so the snowflakes would easily come apart. They're not stuck together as you'd have it in the case of wet or watery snow. So, I mean, this is an example of how the understanding that there's a fourth phase of water can help you to understand why you might get powder snow versus the wet stuff.
Which, as a snowboarder, you know, you're always after the snow that you can just, you know.
Right.
Yeah, so just kind of wrap it up. This film is obviously, you're in the environment, you're in the climate, and we saw in your film that in Alaska you went and it was one of the worst snowfalls you've ever seen. Have you seen, not just over this film, but over all the films you made, have you seen a massive change in the snow conditions due to climate change? And it's a two-part question. And as snowboarders, what can we do to help this, if anything?
Yeah, I mean, I think over not only just this film, but 15, 20 years I've been able to spend in the mountains. But there's no question that you know, we live in a world that has a generally warming climate. And I think, you know, on top of that, you know, I call it global stranging. You're getting more, you know, intense, you know, the pendulum swings both ways. You'll have the best winter in 100 years, and then, you know, the last 3 years were very strange weather. I mean, our last winter in Alaska alone, January 1st through the end of May, it averaged 12 degrees Fahrenheit above average, some of the warmest months on record. And so, you know, I think more than really trying to, you know, tell this doomsday story, I think it's, if anything, you know, for us, it's more of an embrace. It's more of an appreciation for what climate change really is. It's a call to action. It's the fact that, you know, we continue to pollute our air and pollute our water. And, you know, you ask, what can we as individuals do? I think there's a number of things. Simple as preserving our own resources. You know, turn the light off when you leave. Turn the faucet off when you're going, you know, in between brushing teeth. There's these little things. You know, trying not to consume single-use plastics. You know, writing to local government. And, you know, beyond even that, I think the real like King Koopa, the card that we all hold, probably higher than anything else, is the fact that we as consumers, where our dollars are spent, where we choose to spend money, has probably the greatest ripple effect of anything. We all are empowered beyond I think what so many of us accept, and how we spend our money really shape the future more than probably anything else. And yeah, being here at the Royal Geographical Society with Dr. P, being able to talk about these ideas that are, if anything, more expansive. I think for us it's just an honor to be here, and, you know, really the fourth phase is more of a tribute title than anything else. So, yeah, get empowered.
Amazing. Well, thanks so much for speaking to me. Just before I go, one last quick question. Obviously, I'm all about speed. I love going fast. Have you ever actually tracked your speed going down when you've been bombing straight down these faces? Have you actually been interested to actually find out how fast you're going?
I have been interested in, you know, because there's these points where you hit essentially terminal velocity for, you know, the angle plus the amount of drag you have, and I think some of the funnest, you know, moments I can recall is when you are in full point and, you know, having the willingness to go from this form to putting the arms back and really see how fast. So yeah, I've never clocked it, but I'd be curious to know.
Race them.
Oh my! Actually, maybe I wouldn't like it. I think the record you have, man. I don't.
We could give it a go. Anyway,